Our main character wakes up in a very weird environment. All he can see is a sea, and he wonders how he has gotten to the sea or how he will leave. He recalls that he wasn't in the sea a few days ago. In fact, he figures that the last memory he can remember was riding on his bike, and a truck carrying a vending machine was in front of him. Suddenly, he sees that the rope used to hold the vending machine has loosened and the machine is falling. He is a lover of vending machines. In fact, he enjoys buying from them every time, so he can't wait and watch what he likes seeing the most fall and get destroyed. He jumps up from his bike, jumps towards the machine, and tries to protect it from falling off. But the device falls on just his head, and that is the last memory he has of being human. He realizes he must have died and maybe he has reincarnated. He is happy at the reincarnation opportunity, but it turns out that is just his first problem. While he is glad he has reincarnated, he tries to come out of the water he has found himself in, but he sees that it is not easy to come out of it. He wonders what is going on, and when he sees there is no solution, he suddenly starts screaming. It is at that point that he hears a voice welcoming him, and the voice is asking him to put in a coin. He really can't understand what is going on, but he can figure out that the voice he is hearing is his voice. The voice asks what people want to buy and even greets them goodbye, and he is amazed about this. It eventually dawns on him that he has become reincarnated as a vending machine. He is super surprised, and he doesn't know what to do. While the other side of him is so excited that he is reincarnated as a vending machine, another part of him is angry and sad at the opportunity of being reincarnated as a non-living thing. He concludes that since he is obsessed with a vending machine, it probably means that the universe has heard his prayers and they can see his wishes, which is why they gave him exactly what he wanted. He accepts his fate and decides to find out how the machine works and how he will survive. He sees that he can only say a few words like welcome, please put in some coins, thank you, and you can win a bonus. That's not much of a surprise to him since those are the exact words a normal vending machine can say. He keeps trying to understand his new system, and he thinks of how he can use it effectively. While he spends some time thinking, he sees some numbers, and he doesn't know what they mean. He assumes his brain is flashing those numbers across to him, but he quickly realizes that he is no longer human and there is no way his brain can flash numbers at him. He tries to find the numbers again and he sees that it is the system. The system shows him that he can use his points to buy things or change features on the vending machine, and he can also use them to change the products he wants to sell. He finds the points and sees that he has 1,000 points. That looks enough for him to do everything he wants to do at that moment, so he gets into action and tries to find the different products in the machine that he can sell. At that moment, he is selling water, so he checks the system and sees that he has all the products he buys on a normal day as a human, including ramen. He is excited to add milk to his products, and he sees that adding milk will deduct 10 out of his points. He doesn't know the importance of the points at that moment, so he buys it regardless. He keeps checking the system and sees that with the points, he can maintain the coldness and hotness of the products in his vending machine. He can make his ramen hot, and he can also use it for several things. Reality dawns on him when he discovers that his machine doesn't work with electricity or solar. Instead, his machine is powered by the points he spends. 1 point in an hour, which means he will spend 24 points in a day. That means with his 990 points, he can survive for about 41 days. He can also earn points by selling products in his vending machine. If he sells products worth 100 coins, he will get 1 point to power his vending machine. He needs to sell at least 240 products in a day. That seems a little easy for him, and all remains well and good until he looks at his environment and he sees he is by the waterside in an empty desert. There is no one living around or anyone staying around that can buy from him, neither does he have the legs to walk away from that place and go to a more lucrative place. As he thinks of that problem without a solution, he sees a creature before him. At first glance, the creature is huge and it looks like a human, but when he checks well, he sees it as only a frog holding a hammer. The frog looks so big and walks like a human, and when the frog gets nearer to the vending machine, the machine welcomes the frog. But the frog, who doesn't understand that language, deems him as a risk and starts hitting him with the hammer. He starts getting several notifications from the system that his durability is reducing. He finds out that he loses 3 durability in 1 hit. He doesn't know how much durability he has or how to find it, so he checks the system and sees that he has 100 durability, which keeps reducing with every hit. He assumes that the frog will satisfy his want and leave him alone, but to his shock, he sees the frog calling in for reinforcement, and within minutes, another 3 frogs join him, and they all start hitting the vending machine. He strives to find a solution and ways to survive. He keeps increasing his durability ability with points, But it's not enough. He checks the system to see if he can get something to protect himself, and he sees a blessing. The system tells him that a blessing is a gift given by the gods, and he can use it for free. He accepts to use the blessing and sees several gifts there, including the ability to protect himself with a barrier. He takes that ability immediately, and a box barrier covers him and throws the frogs away. The frogs fall, and after they recuperate for a while, they stand up again, pick up their instruments, and continue hitting the vending machine. He wonders if the frogs won't get tired, and he sees that his durability is reducing in minutes and also points because of the barrier he is using. Eventually, the frogs get tired and they leave him. He recovers and repairs his body fully, and after those expenses, he has about 311 points left. He decides he will just live for the next few days and hope he gets a buyer. A few days later, he realizes that there is no way he could get a buyer there. He is scared that he will die without even selling to someone as a vending machine. He feels very sad, and fortunately for him, he sees a girl coming. The girl is a hunter who has chased some frogs towards that side of the water. She is tired and exhausted. As she cries that the frogs should come out of her hiding, she is hungry and she rests there. She regrets accepting to be a hunter and apologizes to her parents for not following their advice. She says she left her food and drink and came to the forest to chase animals for food. She raises her head up and she sees the vending machine. Although she doesn't know what it is, she decides to go nearer, and when she does so, the machine welcomes her and asks her to drop a coin. She looks inside it and sees some products. She can't read the language, but she assumes it is something eatable or drinkable, so she decides to drop a coin. She puts a coin, but the system says the coin she has dropped isn't accepted. The system tells the machine that he can change his currency with 100 points, and he immediately does so with the points so he can at least get a buyer. The system changes the currency to OA, the currency that is used in that area, and the price changes to $1,000. A lady complains that the price is high, but she is also hungry and tired, so she decides to buy it regardless. She puts the coins inside the vending machine, and she doesn't know what to do next. He gives her corn stew, and she sees it coming out of the box. She is scared that he may swallow her if she puts her hand, but she summons the courage to do it regardless. She brings out the stew, and she doesn't know how to open it. She eventually twists the can, and it opens. She eats it, which is very delicious, so she decides to try another item. She figures the white thing there is water, and she decides to go for milk. She pays and takes her milk, and when she drinks it, she is pleased with how it tastes. Eventually, she ate about 3 corn stews, drank milk, and topped it up with water. She spends about 6,300, and he gains about 63 points from her. He is so excited that he has gotten a new customer. Seeing how excited she looks after filling her stomach makes him very satisfied, and he is very happy. She feels so tired after the food, and she falls asleep to safeguard herself from the monsters in the forest. He uses his barrier to cover her. The following day, when she wakes, she sees she has slept off before leaving. She appreciates him for saving her but says she wants to speak with him. But he can't communicate. She asks him to say hello there when he means yes and any other things when he means no. She tells him she is Lemise, and she asks if he is lonely. And when he says yes, she tells him about a magic power fanatic in her village. Hulyamian says she would like to show him to heal her and asks if she can carry him away. He tells her yes, and they start the journey. On their way, she gets tired and wants more food, so he changes his stock to chips. And she gets delighted when she eats it. He gains about 300 more coins. They arrive at the stratum, and she meets the guards, Kurios and Gorth. They are glad she is still alive, and she also tells them about the machine she found by the river. She teaches them how to buy, and they also buy all the products in the machine. They beg her to bring the machine to the gate every night. On her way home, she sees a girl being bullied by some adults, and she saves her. She goes to an inn where she meets her friend, Minami. She drops the vending machine outside and greets Minami. She shows Minami the machine and also what it could do, and says she wants to take it to Halloumi. However, she doesn't have money for the transportation cycle to take her to Halloumi. So Minami suggests that she works in the inn to earn money. And the vending machine can also sell its goods. The plan goes well. During the day, the machine sells for the villagers. And at night, she takes him to the guard. He decides to add another good called Odin, and everyone falls in love with it. He doesn't sell Odin during the day so the inn can make sales. And he also helps them draw customers. His weight is too much for Lemise to carry around every night. So she decides to make a wooden backpack so she can use it to carry him every night and morning. She takes him to the gate that night. And on their way back the following day, she asks him if he has been enjoying and making sales. He tells her yes and appreciates her. But she reminds him he was the one who saved her first. She hopes that one day he will be able to speak more words. And she says that's why she wants to visit Hilami early. She names him Boxo because it has been difficult to call him without a name. And he also accepts the name. He concludes that it is really not a bad idea to be reincarnated as a vending machine in another world.